What is up, YouTube? James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 2018 Baek Battles. Today we'll be using the Mega Alakazam team once again with Mega Alakazam, Tapu Lele, Braviary, Landis-Farian, Ferrothorn, and Blacephalon. Let's get started and play some games. So I did make one change to this team. As I said, I was going to put Psychic on Alakazam, and I did. So we have Psychic and Psyshock, which I'm not sure how good it's going to be. We haven't really clicked Shadow Ball too much. So I think Psychic will be fine. However, it could be useful against maybe like a Focus Sash Bishop, for instance. So who knows, as we find the first opponent from Japan, 16-19 rating to kick things off. What am I even seeing right here? Thundurus Incarnate, Landis-Farian, Gengar, Chansey, Mega, and Tapu Fini. Like, what am I even looking at right here? Because I don't even know what I'm looking at right here. How good is Landis-Farian? Do I need Landorus? I kind of like Ferrothorn a bit more. I wonder what this what's the composition point of this team is. I like Alakazam. I like Alakazam a lot here. I think Alakazam plus Braviary is pretty decent, actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Alakazam Braviary with Lele Landers in the back, because I just don't see Blacephalon doing too much work against Chansey, which I'm a little bit scared of. Landers can help with the Intimidate, although it really doesn't do much otherwise. Maybe Ferrothorn is better. You know what? I'm going to bring Ferrothorn instead. The reason I'm going to bring Ferrothorn instead is because I feel like Ferrothorn has more usage to me right now, because of the fact it can hit a lot of my opponent's team, as well as have knockoff for the Chansey, which allows my team to, you know, if I get a knockoff in a Chansey, I'm pretty sure Psyshock and Psychic Terrain can actually pick up the knockout, so that could be really beneficial here. We'll see what my opponent decides to lead, but I have no clue what to expect from my opponent here. We're playing a bit of a guessing game right here. Braviary plus my Landis will lead against the Thundurus Tapu Fini. I'm pretty sure Psychic can knock out the Thundurus if I'm smart about it. I wonder if it's a seed variant. I doubt it, but it could be. It doesn't look like it. I'll go for the Psychic here into the Thundurus. I'm pretty sure Psychic combined with Tapu Lele. Psychic Terrain should be able to pick up the knockout Thundurus, and I definitely do want to go for that play turn one because it prevents Thunder Wave from going out into my Alakazam. And I should be able to knock out the Thundurus unless it's like a Focus Sash or like one of the special defensive Thunduruses. But that was more common back when Thunder Wave was a lot more common on Thundurus-Farian. Now they kind of run offensive. Oh, this play doesn't work out if my opponent decides to go for, if I trace the Misty Surge, which I realize can be a factor. Please don't jinx it. Every single time. This is why I think Trace is a terrible ability on Mega Alakazam. In doubles, at least. Psychic gonna go out in the Thundurus. Almost picks up the knockout, actually, as we're gonna see a Z-move come out from the Thundurus, which is gonna be the Gigavolt Havoc, it looks like. And I don't know who this is targeting, but it's still pretty bad for me either way, I think. So Gigavolt Havoc's gonna come out, probably target down my Lele. I would assume it's my Lele slot, but could be Alakazam. Yeah, it's my Lele. I think I'll survive, maybe? I do, but Muddy Water's probably coming out. Yep. I absolutely hate Trace on Mega Alakazam, and that is a Specs Fini, and it gets the accuracy drop, which is not fun to deal with. Okay. And in order to win this game, I think I need to hit my next Psychic into Thundurus. I'm pretty sure Tapu Fini should go down to a Z-move for my Braviary. So I'm going to actually fire off a Psyshock, I think, in Thundurus. And go for the Z-move into the Fini. Because if I can knock out both this turn, I'm not sure if I'd knock out Fini, but I could potentially. So we're going to see the Chansey come out. Okay. That's an interesting one. And Thundurus protects, which is actually fine, I think, for me, right? Yeah, I think this is fine for me. I will go for the Psyshock into Thundurus, and I will go for a Z-move into Chansey. Now the question is, what kind of Chansey is this? Is this like supposed to be, is this supposed to be some kind of ally switch the following turn? Because I could see it. This is going to do a lot to Chansey though, at least. So Z-move into Chansey. That's a good amount. I think Psyshock can pick up the knockout on Chansey. I'll go for the Psyshock into the Chansey slot and go for the Protect here, because I could see Ally Switch and Thunderbolt here, or I could see maybe like Thunderbolt and the Braviary and something from the Chansey that's not Ally Switch. And this covers both my plays here, unless you decide to Thunderbolt the Alakazam here. So let's see what my opponent's going to go for. I will Protect Braviary here. It is going to be that Ally Switch, so I do call it right. And I don't mind if Chansey's kept on the field. Let's see if I get the attack off. Nice! So I do land the Psyshock, and I will be able to knock out the Thundurus. Absolutely huge turn right there. So I do call the Ally Switch, and I'm able to get rid of the Thundurus variant right there. Excellent. Of course, I could have got a double knockout here, but Chansey's not really threatening much offensive pressure, so I think this is an alright turn. Feeney's going to come out, which I do not mind, because I should be able to get a substitute up. I could go for substitute, or I could just switch out Alakazam. I kind of like switching out Alakazam a bit more here in a Ferrothorn, and I'm pretty sure Brave Bird should finish off the Chansey at this point. The reason I want to make this play is because I do want to reset to accuracy drops. I already had to rely on one Psyshock connecting, and I don't want to rely on more. So, gonna go Ferrothorn here, and Brave Bird just Chansey. Hopefully it picks up the knockout. I would assume if the Z-move did about 75%, I would imagine the Brave Bird finishes that off here. Yeah, perfect. If we get a Chansey, we're going to take quite a bit of recoil, yeah. As Dazzling Gleam is actually going to come out. Okay, Ferrothorn's going to eat that up. A Braviary still takes a lot here, but we get to find out my opponent's last Pokemon, and I'm still in a pretty good spot, unless it's maybe like a choice Scarf Landorus, I think. A Landorus does come out here. I feel like you have to lock yourself in a Rock Slide or Superpower. I think Rock Slide is very likely here, as I do get my Defiant boost. It might come down to me hitting a Power Whip onto the Feeney at this point, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Power Whip in the Feeney and just protect Braviary this turn. So I'll protect Braviary here just to scout. If it's Scarf Landorus, it's not bad for me at all. What the fish here? Okay, why? We connect the Power Whip. That should knock out Feeney, I want to say. Ooh, it actually misses, but that's alright. Since it's Specs Feeney, it can't knock me out, and I'm assuming this is either Assault Vest Landorus, or if it's like, maybe it's Scarf. If it's Scarf, if I Brave Bird Feeney, I win the game here. Well, it looks like it's AV Landorus. I will be able to get a Brave Bird off into the Tapu Fini slot, which will be able to pick up the knockout. So, get rid of the Tapu Fini, which is great here. Which is excellent. Let's see what this Landorus is going to go for. It's going to go for the Fisher once again into Ferrothorn. Dodges it, but I don't think it matters because Psyshock and the Brave Bird should have been able to finish off the Landorus anyway at this point. And Brave Bird's now going to be able to finish off the Landorus at this point of the game. So, really nice here. Not expected how the game I was hoping. And tracing the Misty Surge was definitely a terrible thing that happened. But hey, it ended up working out. Which is the thing, because when you're facing a lot of opposing Tapus like Coco, Bulu, and Lele, not Lele, Coco, Bulu, and Feeney, which are probably more common than Lele, I want to say. I'm pretty sure most of them are. I know Feeney and Coco are probably more common than Lele. I don't know what Bulu is, but basically you're facing a lot of opposing terrain, which makes Trace so annoying, because if you want to Mega Evolve and go on the offense turn one, like if you have to risk the 50-50 right there. After you get the opposing Surge, which could be really bad, or do you get the other ability, which is probably better in most cases, I want to say. But let's see here. We able to pull through against a Ally Switch Chansey Z-move Thundurus team. But yeah, I expected Ally Switch on that team just because like Chansey with like Mega Gengar usually tend to run Ally Switch, Salt Boil, maybe Minimize, and then like a filler move, maybe Protect. So that's the reason why I decided to just go for the Chansey slot, because I felt like if you're going to attack, you might just try to get rid of my Braviary, because Braviary could be a more offensive threat, especially with the option if I can get Tailwind up and I had a pretty heavy hitting Pokemon in the back like Landers, for instance. Braviary plus Landers was going to do a lot of damage to my opponent's team, so I felt like you didn't exactly want that to happen. But yeah, just being able to connect the Side Shock was nice too, because of the Muddy Water accuracy drop not really mattering too much there. So as it's taken quite a while to find our second game, so we'll be right back for the second game of today's episode. Okay, we got Psycho from Italy, 16-15 rating, with the team of just looks like standard stuff: Tapu Fini, Manectric, Celesteela, Gothitelle, Incineroar, and Snorlax. So pretty standard stuff. This is a little bit concerning. I like Braviary here a lot. I think Braviary is really good here. The problem with Braviary is really good, sort of. I think Braviary does really well against my opponent's team. Braviary plus what though? Landers? I could see myself leading Braviary Landers. I like that lead actually. It covers like a lot of what my opponent can do. I think I want Blacephalon in the back for the Celesteela in case it gets a little bit annoying. And I'm thinking Alakazam in the back. Although Alakazam might not be as useful. I'm thinking maybe also Tapu Lele could be nice. Actually, yeah, Tapu Lele is pretty nice. The only problem is, yeah, no, let's go Lele. Because Alakazam, it does help a bit against the Snorlax with Side Shock, but Psychic's still going to do a lot. I think in terrain, Psychic can knock out Manectric if I'm not snarled, which is pretty good. And I'm 100% sure you're going to lead Manectric here. There's no doubt in my mind, I think you would lead Manectric, unless you're going to go like Incineroar plus, well, maybe you could lead like Incineroar Gothitelle. I could also see maybe hard Fini Celesteela lead. Celesteela can definitely be a lead here, which is why I was thinking maybe lead Blacephalon, but maybe it's Manectric Celesteela, so you could Volt Switch out into your Fini, which I could definitely see here. It is going to be the Manectric Tapu Fini though, so that's not too bad for me. Against my Braviary plus Landers. So unless my Manectric carries Thunderbolt, it can't actually knock out my Braviary, which is a pretty big deal. I have two plays. I could go out in a Lele. I kind of want to. I could Earthquake Protect here. You know what? I think the better play is to double protect, because one, I could see the play Manectric going for a Volt Switch and Fini protecting to bring out your Celesteela. I could also see it maybe the other way around too. Like, that's the thing about this team. My opponent has many options, especially with Volt Switch momentum here, and Celesteela having the Misty Seed. I'm pretty sure Celesteela's in the back. I don't think you're actually going to bring Gothitelle Snorlax at this point in the game. I think it's going to be the Celesteela and the Incineroar here. Because Manectric's going to switch out into the Celesteela. I hope Fini attempts to protect, because this could have been great for me if it did. Actually, it doesn't matter, because it's going to fail its double protect. No, it goes for the Hydro Vortex instead, so I could have just went for Earthquake plus Z-move. Earthquake and the Z-move would have knocked out the Fini, and even then, like, if it didn't, I would have still been in a good spot regardless. So, Hydro Vortex is going to come out. I wonder if Z-move can knock out the Fini afterward. We are going to see Atari down the Landers. That's going to do quite a decent amount to my Landers here. Yeah. Rock Slide into Brave Bird should be enough to knock out the Fini at this range, and I think that is my best play. I don't think I can afford Blacephalon to take too much damage right off the bat, so I'd rather go for the Rock Slide plus Z-move. I don't think Heavy Slam's going to be able to pick up a knockout. Wait, did we see the Misty Seed on Celesteela? I think we did, but I mean, it should be Misty Seed, I would assume. But if it's not, it would make this game a bit more interesting. I also need to chip on Celesteela anyway, as we're going to see Fini protect here, so that's not my best call here. It was kind of obvious, but I'm going for a Rock Slide. If I get the flinch on Celesteela, that is still pretty beneficial to me, and weakening the Celesteela again for my my Blacephalon is still pretty good for this matchup. And even getting this chip to protect, even though I didn't get the knockout Feeny that I wanted, having this damage on Feeny puts it in range of another Rock Slide plus Brave Bird the following turn. The question is, how do I exactly maneuver against Manectric plus the Celesteela? That's like the one thing I am a bit concerned about at the moment. I also don't know how much Heavy Slam will do, but I don't think it should be a 2 KO on Braviary. I want to say Acrobatics might though. Heavy Slam comes out into Landers. That should pick up the knockout. Yeah, it does. Beast Boost. Special Defense. Oh, it's a leftover Celesteela. Okay. Lady would be able to knock out the Feeny with Psychic. I don't think that's worth it, though. I want to go Blacephalon here. I think Brave Bird into Overheat should knock out the Celesteela, but I could be wrong here. I'm not sure if you want Feeny to go down potentially yet, but if I can get rid of Celesteela, that's like huge momentum for me. And Feeny can't knock out my Braviary, and Blacephalon's really only here for the Celesteela, so I think this turn will work out if I go for the double target in the Celesteela. Celesteela doesn't protect here, but Celesteela could protect here, but you also might be worried about Feeny going for a... you might be worried about Feeny going... Blacephalon going for a Shadow Ball and a Brave Bird into the Feeny slot, so you might not protect Celesteela here. So there's a few mind games here. With the Special Defense Beast Boost, I feel like you might live like a normal Heat Wave double up, which is why I don't think you're going to protect here. And yeah, we're actually going to see the opponent go on the offense here. So Overheat comes out, almost picks up the knockout on Celesteela, as I said, but with the Brave Bird, should be able to knock out the Celesteela at this range. And that's pretty good for me, because getting rid of that Celesteela is absolutely crucial here. As we get rid of Celesteela. And Muddy Water. Oh, just Moonblast. That's in the Braviary, and I get the special. Oh, that Blacephalon. What? Did my opponent just not want to risk the miss there? That works out for me. Manectric should be coming out, so it can pressure the Braviary. Incineroar should never come out here, in my opinion. Incineroar would be a huge mistake. And I'm 100% confident that the Incineroar is in the back, because Incineroar is really good against my team. I think I already talked about this, like how Incineroar is really good against my team. So, yeah, still not over. Not over by a long shot. And I don't think Braviary took any damage yet, other than the recoil from the Brave Bird. Yeah, it didn't. So I'll live a Volt Switch, which is really good here. I could go for a switch into Lele here, which is perfectly solid, I think, for me, because of the fact that, one, I don't think you'll snarl in this position, because if Braviary decides to go on the offense, you're not looking too hot here. And two, Psychic should be able to threaten the Manectric the following turn, as long as there's no Moonblast, Special Attack Drop, or Muddy Water Accuracy Drop, and I'd be able to knock out the Manectric potentially. So let's see what my opponent's going to go for, as I will protect here. It looks like no Mega Evolution, which is smart, because you don't want to give me my Defiant yet, and you already outspeed anyway. Volt Switch is going to come out in a Braviary, and a Muddy Water, or a Moonblast double up. It's going to be that Muddy Water, so Lele, I'm praying. Ooh, we dodge it, which is nice. I mean, it wouldn't have KO'd anyway, but I'm just glad we don't have to deal with, I'm just really glad we don't have to deal with the Accuracy Drop right here, because Accuracy Drop could have been bad. Now it's my choice of target. I could go for Psychic into the Feeny slot, or I could target down the Manectric slot with the Psychic. So how do I want to exactly position myself is my question. Because Volt Switch is not going to knock my Manectric out, but I'm not sure if Psychic in Terrain will finish out the Feeny because of its high special defense stat. I know Brave Bird won't be able to knock out the... I know Brave Bird won't be able to knock out the Feeny, but we're actually going to see the Feeny switch out here in the Snorlax. Ooh, no Incineroar. And Manectric protects, which is fine. So I'll go for the Psychic into the Manectric slot and get a Brave Bird off into the Snorlax. Huh. The problem is, what kind of Snorlax are you? Brave Bird... Superpower should finish off the Snorlax at that range. Here's the thing. I'm worried about two things. One, do you double up Lele? Or two, do you decide to go for a Volt Switch into Braviary and switch out into your Feeny, so you can live the Psychic with Manectric. I think the Feeny play is very likely here, so I'm actually just going to Psychic Protect here. This doesn't work out, and my opponent goes for the return, though, into Lele, but would you really trade? Because, one, if you don't make that play of going to Feeny, Psychic should just knock out Manectric anyway, unless you decide to switch out, but then your Feeny's in range of everything. Yeah, and if Manectric's going to hard switch, that's completely fine, too, because Psychic should be a 2-hit knockout on Feeny, and I threaten the Superpower onto Snorlax, which should be able to pick up the knockout the following turn. Unless this Snorlax has some kind of really big trick up its sleeve. Maybe like if it's a Z move, for instance. Or a Stockpile Set. Stockpile Set is probably the one thing I'm worried about, but it's not too common, fortunately. Psychic does a lot. Return is going to come out into the Lele. And yeah, not going to be able to pick up the knockout. But now I can go for a Superpower in a Snorlax and a Psychic into the Feeny slot. And now my opponent's kind of cornered right here. Which is why I feel like the play was to switch out to Snorlax there, so Manectric can maybe live the attack. But then again, you wouldn't have been able to threaten much damage onto the Lele, and you would have still been taking a Psychic anyway, potentially. So, no matter what, my opponent was in a pretty rough position, no matter what my opponent decided to do there. But right here, I think I positioned perfectly, as we're going to see Manectric protect, the Snorlax protect, which is fine. As we'll go for the Psychic into the Feeny slot. We'll be able to pick up the knockout. And Superpower will go out into the Snorlax. Okay, so Protect means probably no high horsepower or Recycle. Manectric's going to be forced to come out here. Wonder what you're going to do. Probably just a Volt Switch here and a return. I think Blacephalon's a pretty safe call here. Yeah, I think Blacephalon's just a good call here. The reason I think Blacephalon's a decent call here is because Blacephalon will be able to pressure down my opponent's team right here. And if my opponent decides to knock out the Blacephalon, I'm in a pretty good spot, as we're going to see Manectric Mega Evolve here. So, trying to get that little bit of special attack increase so you can guarantee the knockout on Braviary potentially, which I do agree with here, since Braviary is in range right here. So, let's see. It should be just a Volt Switch and a return. That's what I would assume here, as we will protect Braviary. And Volt Switch does come out into Braviary and return. Perfect. And I feel like you always have to target down my Braviary slot. And my opponent's also running out of time too, so that this works in my favor. I'm actually going to go for the Overheat in the Manectric and switch out into Lele. Because this should be fine because of the fact if I knock out Manectric here, I should be able to just win the game with my Braviary. If he protects, the Snorlax can't pressure my Blacephalon well enough, because unless it doesn't have a Cycle, which would be an interesting one, I'm thinking it might be high horsepower. We are going to see the Volt Switch into the Lele. Going to pick up the knockout. I do have to rely on hitting the Overheat and hope Overheat is enough to finish off the Manectric. But, I mean, it's a Blacephalon. It has pretty high special attack. It actually doesn't knock out the Manectric. But we're going to see the return instead here. So, this made it really interesting. I don't know if that's the case. If it's bulky enough to live, I don't think it can knock my Braviary, but that's a question for my opponent. I also really don't know. Are you going to expect Braviary to protect here? Because I feel like Braviary protects is kind of obvious. Yeah, you're going to expect Braviary to protect there. Because if I protect and Shadow Ball the Manectric as it attacks, you lose the game 100%. So I'm going for the play. It's a bit more aggressive. I'm not sure if Volt Switch would knock me out either way. So I think the play covers both, as I am able to knock out the Snorlax there with the Superpower. Go offensive. My opponent was also running out of time, so I think my opponent was a bit rushed there. But it would have came down to the mind game. But does Manectric protect? Expect my Braviary to protect and try to finish off, or just try to stall out a turn with Snorlax. But yeah. Either way, I think I could have just won with Blacephalon because my opponent's time was running out, and I don't think my opponent had a way to touch my Blacephalon. If it did, then maybe you can win the game. But still, maybe it was going for the high horsepower. And Braviary actually survives the attack on 1 HP, so it looked like even if my opponent Volt Switch the following turn, unless it's a roll and in my opponent's favor. But Going to be able to knock out the main Electric here and going to be able to pick up the win. So very nice. We have a 2-0 for today's episode, which is really solid. And yeah, so I want to talk about that turn. As I said, with Manectric isn't exactly the bulkiest Mega Evolution. Blacephalon, I know it's not exactly, I mean, on paper it has like a really high special attack stat. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but even then, I feel like if you're just a 4 HP like max special attack variant on Mega Manectric, like max special attack, max speed, Overheat should be able to finish out the job. I mean, it's an Overheat from Blacephalon, and you know, if you live it, you have to have some bulk, and you can't really sacrifice speed on Mega Manectric. It's one of those Pokemon that usually relies on its speed for utility to get like fast Volt Switches off or Snarls. So yeah, so I've used Lele there, Sack Lele, just to see, because one, if I get the Overheat knockout on a Manectric that turn, I win the game. I win the game 100%. If you survive the Overheat, there's a really good chance you don't have as much special attack investment. So Superpower, I should be able to live the Volt Switch and Superpower up the Snorlax. But yeah, also I made the aggressive play, but I don't think it would have really mattered in the long run. But I feel like you would protect, because I made the obvious protect turn with Braviary every time against a Manectric. So I felt like my opponent would predict this time in the crucial moment of the game. And basically what I was able to do there was capitalize off that mindset and just go straight for a mix-up and go for the Superpower in the Snorlax, which it did work out that turn. But hope that everyone enjoyed today's episode of VGC 2018 Baek Battles. If you did, please leave a like down below, shows your support, as well as you can check out the rest of my stuff down below in the description. So my social medias, the side tiers on my channel, all that will be linked down below. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment as I do read them. If you want to try out the team, it's down below in the description. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment. As I said, I do read them. Otherwise, have a great day, people. And until we battle again, I'll catch y'all later.